Please.
Dowdy,
Here.
East,
Here.
Marvin,
Here.
Metzger, Purdy,
Here.
Shook,
Here.
Bell.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from the previous meeting were sent out to the board members, and you should have received them on your tablets. Is there any need of corrections or clarification on last month's meeting? If not, a motion to approve, please. Mr. Marvin makes a motion to approve. Mr. East gives a second. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. We have one appointment to the North Fork Conservancy District. Dave Gross' term will expire on August 18th, and he is asked to be reappointed. And with advice and consent of the board, I would reappoint him until August of 2025. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. We have some appointments. Oh, the next appointment is to fill the vacancy on the county board. Michael Watts his name has been submitted, and he's highly recommended. And with advice and consent of the board, I would like to appoint Michael Watts until November of 2022. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. Okay, and at this time, we will suspend the agenda and have Mr. Watts come forward and have our county clerk administer the oath of office.
Come up here, Michael. Michael or Mike? Michael? Michael, just raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Michael Watts,
I, Michael Watts,
having been appointed to the office of County Board,
having been appointed to the office of County Board,
District 3,
District 3,
in and for the County of Coles,
and for the County of Cole,
and State of Illinois,
and State of Illinois,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm
or affirm
that I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of Illinois,
of the State of Illinois.
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the Coles County Board
of the Coles County Board
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you. I won't shake, but congratulations.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Mr. Watts. We look forward to having you on board and working for the citizens of Coles County. Now, back to the agenda. We have several appointments to the Public Building Commission, but we will take them individually. With advice and consent of the board, I would like to appoint Andrew Zavarella until December of 2023. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes,
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. An appointment of Mike Weaver until December of 2024 with advice and consent of the board, please. Roll call.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. Would like to appoint Jan Eads to the Public Building Commission until December of 2021 with advice and consent of the board. Roll call.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. Another appointment to the Public Building Commission, Tim Yao, until December 2022 with advice and consent of the board. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. One final appointment to the Public Building Commission of Elaine Kamada until December of 2020 with advice and consent of the board. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. Okay. We will begin our committee reports. Buildings and Grounds, Mr. Coffey.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bell, County Office and Rules, were you present or,
I was not present, but I can read the
You
minutes if you'd like.
and those present can clarify if need be?
And do finance, Steve.
Okay, are we ready then, Mr.
Yes,
Chairman?
yes,
Okay,
please.
the County Office and Rules Committee was called to order at 4:38 PM, August 3rd, 2020. Ms. Shores updated the members on the property tax cycle. There was no old business. New business, a resolution for the 2021 holiday calendar was presented to the members. It is attached. A motion to forward this resolution to the county board was made by Mr. Doty and was seconded by Ms. Corey. The motion did carry, and at this time I so move.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bell for the 2021 holiday calendar. Is there a second? We have Mr. Shook giving a second. Discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes?
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes.
There was no miscellaneous business, and the meeting adjourned at 4:51 PM on a motion by Mr. Doty and a second by Ms. Corey.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Bell, in the absence of Mr. Metzger, could you cover the Finance Committee meeting as well?
Yes, sir. The Finance Committee was called to order at 5:01 PM, August 3rd, 2020. For the treasurer's update, Mr. Edwards reported that at this time, 51% of the property taxes have been collected. He compared this to last year's taxes at this time, in which 54% had been collected. There was no old business. New business, Mr. Hagan presented the 2019 audit to the members for review. Discussion followed. A resolution was presented to the members regarding an amendment to the budget for an increase in the expense line item for the sheriff contract ratifications. After discussion, Mr. Marvin made a motion to forward this to the county board. Mr. Coffey seconded the motion. Motion carried. At this time, I so move.
We have a motion to amend the 2020 budget. Mr. Marvin in the sheriff's expense line item. Mr. Marvin gives a second. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Doty,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes.
There was no miscellaneous business. The meeting adjourned at 5:37 PM on a motion by Mr. Coffey and was seconded by Mr. Marvin.
Thank you, Mr. Bell. We have emergency, Mr. Dowdy, emergency food and shelter.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Shook, emergency telephone system, the 911 board, sir.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman, and I just want to inform you, and I know you already know this, the county's in good shape,
Okay,
good hands.
thank you. Health and safety, we had no meeting, I don't remember. Mr. Marvin, insurance.
No meeting,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Liquor commission, there was none. Mr. Metzger is unable to attend tonight. Mental health board, I know regional planning and development was canceled. Public health board, we have had several meetings in lieu of COVID and other public health related issues, but I have no minutes at this time. Mr. Doty, Road and Bridge.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Ms. Purdy, Senior Citizens Tax Levy.
No meeting.
Mr. Coffey, Sheriff and Law Enforcement.
No meeting, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mr. Marvin, Supplies and Claims, please.
Mr. Chairman, the Supplies and Claims Committee met twice and reviewed the bills
Okay, I can hear
and
you.
approved them, and I so moved to forward them to the full board for approval.
Okay, Mr. Marvin moves, has reported that all bills have been reviewed, makes a motion to approve. Is there a second? Mr. Dowdy seconds. Discussion. If not, roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffey,
Yes.
Corey,
Yes.
Zuhon.
Yes. Old business? Anything need to be, except can we have a request on Mr. Doty for the last vote?
I'm sorry, just a second. Yes, that was Doty. I apologize.
Present.
Thank
Okay,
you.
we're all accounted for. Thank you. Old business? None being brought forth. New business? Nothing on the agenda. Miscellaneous?
Mr. Chairman, sir,
Yes, sir, Mr.
I'd just like to say that we all know Matching Schools open, I believe, Monday. And I just want to say, I think it's great that the kids are going back to school. They need to go back to school. My Mattoon kids need to go back to school and be taught like everybody else used to. And if we'll get things going, and everything will work out just fine. I just want to say that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Shook. No need for executive session. I have announcements of appointments. An appointment to the Brewster Rice Drainage District, one to the Coles Clark Drainage District, an appointment to Consolidated District Number 4-12 of the North Okaw, one appointment to Drainage District Number 12 of Humboldt, one appointment to Holman Mutual Drainage District, an appointment to the Kickapoo Drainage District, an appointment to the Loxa Drainage District, an appointment to the Majors Drainage District. And I think that will conclude that part. We undoubtedly are in trying times. The reason for the change in the in-person meetings to back to remote is because the health metrics of Coles County is spiraling downhill, and we need to do something to help curb the, that path, to take efforts. This is one of the very few things. We have one board member that has recovered. We have other board members that have significant health issues. We have, or their family has. We have a board member absent, Mr. Metzger, because of a significant surgery. So we felt it was in the best interest and in helping to have a good showing for the citizens of the county in the direction that we need to take. When our county was shut down, we were below a 3.3% positivity rate. We are currently at 6.5. At 8% positivity rate, there could be serious ramifications coming from IDPH giving directions to the local health department to take steps to rectify our serious situation. That hasn't happened yet. We don't want that to happen. So that is the reason we are back to remote style meetings. We have full access to the meetings, just not in person. So I want to thank the board members and everybody for understanding this. I want to thank those that are in attendance via some electronic means for being patient with us. And at this time, I will open the floor for public comment. Please be courteous, adult, proper language, and be respectful of time restraints for the opportunity for as many people that want to speak to do so. Thank you very much. And I will please request for the floor and identify yourself so that we can properly address you. So the microphone is now open to public comment.
Hi, this is Rick Dukeman.
Yes, Mr. Dukeman.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
My question is I've seen something on social media about a Cole County wind farm. Have we authorized some permits for a wind farm?
I cannot answer that directly. Regional planning would have that information. And unfortunately, our regional planning and development chair is absent from the meeting tonight. Mr. Dukeman can...
Somebody needs to turn the mic off, please, so we can get the questions out so everyone can hear. Please mute your phones if you're not asking a question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay, Mr. Dukeman, my suggestion would be to check with Kelly Lockhart, Regional Planning, or we can dig into it and see what we can find out. I am unfamiliar with that myself.
Okay, I got that loud and clear. My other question would be, is this something that can be put on the ballot this fall for the citizens of Cole County to vote on when we allow a wind farm to come into our communities?
Again, well, you got tough questions tonight, Rex. Ones that I don't have a clue whether something could be put on the ballot this quickly. I don't know the process for such a thing. Mr. Danley, do you have any clue?
My concern is that we've got 12 representatives for the county, and we've got 54,000 people in this county also, that maybe a vote would be a better way to handle something that could actually have a bearing on property values and quality of life.
I can understand that position. I don't want to go too far off track, but when Ameren put the major transmission line across the state of Illinois, there were public hearings held for that. I don't know whether that is in the works or whether, because this is going into a rural zone. Of course, we have no zoning, but we do have noise and other ordinances, and I know regional planning has that on their table right now for discussion. So that's the best I can do for you this evening, is say it is on the regional planning table, and they have been discussing it for a few months now. Did that come anywhere close to being helpful?
Crap, it's not working here now.
Okay, we seem to, Mr. Dukeman, are you still there?
Are we still taking questions?
Yes, we are trying to,
Not understanding.
okay. All right. I'm not wanting to cut you off, Mr. Dukeman, but I will open the floor back up for another individual to speak.
Well, they need to get Dukeman out. Oh, Colin. He's one of the ones that's always like.
Please, everyone, if you're not going to speak directly to the meeting, please mute your microphone.
I don't think they can hear him.
Yes, I.
I don't think they hear you, Mike. I don't think they're hearing you.
Noah says, yeah.
Hi, are we still doing questions?
Yes, yeah. The floor is open, so identify yourself and proceed.
I'm Doc Shue, Dallas Schumacher. I live on Jackson Avenue. I was going to ask about the schools being reopened on Monday. Is that still happening?
I cannot answer, well, I know that Charleston is not. Mattoon, I believe, still is. They are having a school board meeting tonight. And I would imagine that one form of news media or another will make everyone aware of that. So, I believe that
Charleston is not reopening schools then.
August 31st, I believe, was what the article said in the paper.
Remote only for the first quarter.
And school will start. Okay, remote only for the first quarter. Thank you. Okay, next individual, the floor is open.
Yeah, hi, are you taking questions?
Yes, we are. Could you,
My name is, I'm calling
point, I am a member of the Coast Progressives, and I have a statement to read.
Okay,
Okay, this county board, under the laws of Illinois, this county board is authorized to enact laws to protect the public health during an emergency. Those rules may last for as long as the disaster lasts, unlike the limitations on executive actions. Upon enactment of such laws, the county's public health department may enforce those safety standards and fines, and other criminal sanctions may be imposed upon violators. Our state attorney has so far refused to enforce any laws relating to physical distancing, mask wearing, or previous orders to close non-essential businesses. At this point, a concerted effort to avoid the spread of COVID-19 is essential to any hopes to keep our economy open and to allow social interactions in reasonable and safe ways. Several downstate counties have been placed on the warning scale for increased infections. The county level risk indicators for us are at the orange level, a warning that we could be headed in the wrong direction and people should take additional steps to slow the spread of the virus. Throughout the state and nation, our political structures are facing increased pressure to reinstate shelter-in-place orders and otherwise shut down again. Legal maneuvering by elected officials and dissatisfied citizens have placed increased reliance upon voluntary and collective compliance with physical distancing rules and the wearing of masks. Therefore, Coast Progressives has asked other organizations to join us in requesting that the Coast County Board adopt a resolution similar to the one we are proposing. That resolution is intended to not only demonstrate your support for public health and CDC regulations, but also to discourage persons and businesses from ignoring or rejecting those guidelines. We also want to encourage you to devote your public resources to this fight. We ask you to adopt this resolution. To the public, no one likes to have any pandemic-related hardships. Everyone is experiencing pandemic-related hardships. Everyone who supports medical science guidelines must support community enforcement and compliance. People who do not agree with the recommendations of Coles County Health Department are free to discuss their grievances, but should be loudly condemned for not wearing a mask in public and respecting physical distancing mandates. Every person or business that abides by the collective effort to reduce the spread of the COVID-19 virus should be applauded and supported. Historical and effective models of infectious disease control clearly demonstrate that the spread can be reduced by proper sanitation, hand washing, masks, and other facial protection, PPE, and physical distancing. In addition, tracing and isolation for known infected people are going to make a great difference in our success against this disease. We support the adoption and enforcement of Coles County Health Department guidelines by all businesses and commercial establishments and request that every person join the cause by wearing a mask and practicing physical distancing. In addition, we pledge to use public resources to train and educate the people in our community and equip them with the tools to both understand the fight and join it. This is a disease that will not defeat us if we all stand together to defy it. Thank you for your time.
okay, thank you very much. Well spoken. I am in significant agreement with you. She was one of the Coles Progressives. That's just a member of
She
that.
only
is
gave her
what we
first
will-
name.
She didn't state her name.
She only
But-
said Colleen.
Pardon?
She only gave a first name, Colleen.
Yeah, and
Where's
that
Colleen
part I
from?
didn't
Do
even
we know?
know. Okay, minor discussion here amongst our group. The microphone is open once again for another individual to speak.
Mr. James Donato, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to address a few things. I'd like to address a couple things that the last commenter, I didn't get her name. I don't know if it was Colleen, but I'm reading from Illinois law here, and 20 ILCS, if I can read this correctly, 3305-7, says the emergency powers of the governor. I'm going to read just part of it, one sentence. The governor shall not have and may exercise for a period not to exceed 30 days the following emergency powers. I'm not going to go through all of them. The governor has lost 2 court cases, and his executive orders past 30 days are null and void. And these new orders that have come out are null and void also. I'm a business owner and been in business for 30 years. I'm in the health and fitness business. You realize what you're asking me to do? Because this county's going to get its butt suit off if I have a mask on one of my athletes and they're running high intensity drills and they can't get enough oxygen in their body because they're masked up and they pass out and they have some sort of cardiac event and drop. Now, how are you going to handle that? How are you going to tell somebody who's asthmatic that comes into my place that is trying to stay fit and healthy that they have to restrict their oxygen flow because the governor issued an illegal edict from his throne in Springfield or Chicago? I want to know, am I going to get a $2,500 fine? Am I going to go to jail for just trying to make a living and keep people healthy from the virus? I'm following all the protocols. We have sanitation. We have wearing gloves. We wear masks if anyone requests us to wear masks. We take people's temperature. We have a very advanced cleaning protocol. I'm doing everything I can. I've already shut down for 3 months. I want to know from the state's attorneys from the county board, what exactly type of enforcement are you going to take against me if one of my clients does not want to wear a mask or is medically restricted from doing so?
At this point in time, Mr. Donasso, and the state's attorney will have to correct me if I'm wrong, there will not be any action taken upon a complaint filed on the first time, education, a second visit, but potentially if a third visit is required, according to IDPH, Class A misdemeanor charges could be brought, and that carries a penalty, a financial penalty. That is the working protocol, as I understand it, at the current time.
Hey, Jimmy, this is County Board Member Rick Shook. I agree with you. I'm an ex-athlete, and I believe that you're doing everything you can over there. And I believe an athlete will get sick, will have problems, if you can't breathe, obviously, with the mask on. I just want you to know I agree with you.
Well, that's good to know, but I'm just telling you, I've already suffered a financial penalty. I shut my doors for 3 months and lost a fourth of the year's income. Somebody comes to my door and tries to pop a $2,500 fine on me, I'm really going to hate to see how I'm going to react to that when you let criminals out of prison because you're afraid them to get COVID, and yet you're going to take a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen who's trying to do everything he can to feed his family and do the right thing, and you're going to fine me for just running my business. I'm sorry, this isn't the Soviet Union. This is America. We have a Constitution, and I'm not following these damn unconstitutional rules. It's unfair. My industry has been punished. Half of the health clubs and fitness clubs are going out of business, and I don't plan on being one of them. And I'm looking out for the safety of my members, and I'm being responsible. This is ridiculous, and it's unconstitutional. And I would say that if the county tried to enforce it on us, that they're going to be looking at a lawsuit. Enough of this stuff. Enough.
Point taken, Mr. Donasso. Okay,
Now, I'd really like to ask Michael that I would really take the table to ask, if I may.
please make it brief, sir.
I FOIA requested Mr. Bob Becker's employment records from the county. Actually, I requested any 1099s or W-2s that he received for the years he did the reassessment. He received a 1099 for the years 2016 and 17, and then after you guys changed his status, a W-2 was issued for the years 2018 and 2019. So according to you, the last 2 years, he was according to the IRS paperwork file, he was an employee. And I have in my hand an email dated May 21st of this year, where he's corresponding with someone, and he says in that email, attached is the application for reassessment. Here is the text of the law and the link and the President Trump's declaration. President Trump declared disaster area, and according to PTAC-245, there's a disaster area application for reassessment. And if you've been financially hurt by the disaster proclamation in the state, you may be entitled to have your property and the whole county reassessed. And what I'm asking is, I'm asking for the county to be reassessed, because what's happened is businesses have gone under, and if you are going to tax me and charge me my property taxes and then demand that my property not be used for the purpose in which I purchased it for, and you're going to shut me down for 3 months, so I can't operate my fitness operation, and then you're going to tell me that I can't evict anyone for not paying rent, so my other business, which is rental property, I can't receive my rental income, okay? So what I want to know is my building can't be worth what it was last year, because it lost income. And if you're going to tell me that I got an income-generating property and I'm making money, and you're taxing me according to that, and I'm not making money anymore, and I'm losing money, I demand that reassessment per President Trump's declaration and Pritzker's emergency declaration, and I think it's legal, and I want it done. I want my building reassessed. If you don't want me using it, and now I'm under the threat of a fine or closure just for operating my business, I'd like that considered, and I'd like to know what the county has considered about that disaster area reassessment.
That would be a question, and an understanding would have to come from the Supervisor of Assessment's office. I believe Ms. Shores has looked into that. I do not know personally her thoughts on that subject.
So you're telling me I need to take this to the Supervisor of Assessment's office?
Yes, to get a clarification, she knows that kind of a business as well as you know physical fitness and personal training style of business. So she would be the one to have that discussion with, get answers directly from her.
Well, that information came from an employee of the county, Mr. Bob Becker. He's one of your employees, so I will have that conversation with her.
Thank you. Okay.
Hello?
Yes, we will move on. Please, the next, identify yourself, please.
Rob Perry.
Yes, sir, Mr. Perry.
I have a question for our state's attorney. Is he present tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Danley, I want to ask you a couple of questions, and it has to do with our disagreement over taxes that's been going on for 3.5 years. By law and by the statute, you have to choose who you're going to represent. You have 3 people that you serve. You serve the people in the county, you serve the county board, and you serve the department heads in the county. Over this whole situation, you've decided, even with the law in your face, and shown to you that you can't hire somebody that's already being paid to do a job. You can't hire another person to do that person's job. It's in the law. The question I have for you is, you realize what we're going through here, you know where you stand. Well, what I want to know is, where is the law presence for the citizen? I'm wondering whether or not you have contacted the Attorney General to tell them that you're conflicted with this, because the standpoint is the books and the law shows us that when that happens, the Attorney General's got to be summoned in to try to figure out on a third party what we do with this. So if you have any contact at all with the Attorney General's office over what we brought up?
No, I have not, Mr. Perry.
Nothing?
I have not discussed with the Attorney General's office the
But
the
when are
action.
you going to start thinking about the people that are the people of the Coles County area? Because they have to have a voice too. And when you're conflicted, it only makes sense to me that you would contact the Attorney General's office and ask for some help. Because we're still not happy with what's going on, especially when we can read it and know that the law, what the law says. You can't hire an additional body to do somebody else's job that's already being paid for it. So I'd like for you to contact the Attorney General's office. Can you do that?
Yes, I can do that, Mr. Perry.
I appreciate that. The other question I have is, what are we doing with the reassessment and the income loss that we're going to experience next year? Is the county board already assembling some type of a joint effort with each other to try to figure out how you're going to have to cut the budget? Because I'm guaranteeing you it's going to have to happen. We can't continue down the road we're going without consolidation on some of these offices and townships. If you think it's just going to make sure that it's going to take care of itself, and if you really feel like Governor Pritzker is going to get a pot of gold from President Trump, you've got another thing coming. It's not going to happen. So we got to start looking about what we're going to do and how we're going to do it, and we got to be smart about it. So is anybody on the county board willing to get together and try to figure out how we can take and pull all of these townships together to where we can reduce costs? Is that going to happen, or are we just whistling Dixie again?
We have had initial discussion among some of the board members as to feasibility and finding a place to start, but we have not moved on any of that yet, because this was a subject that was brought up prior. And so
I think that's really important, and I'm hoping that somebody will just quit shoving it away and really decide that something's got to be done, because you can't continue to fund the way you're funding, especially with a state that's broke, completely dead broke. So the point is, you're just putting more pressure on the people paying taxes and leaving it like it is, and we get nowhere other than more frustration. So it's time to act and do something, not talk about it, but start finalizing a plan to see how we're going to combat it. The other thing I want to say to you, this bothers me the worst about all of this. Everybody has the right to say something, but I'm kind of disappointed from the standpoint of this county board, not individually, but the whole overall look at what we're doing. We're letting the governor use quid pro quo against the people of this state. He's telling you that if you don't react to what he says, even if it's illegal, he's not going to fund you. That is a quid pro quo. And we sit here and allow him to continue to do things, and you're all scared to stand up and tell him that that's not what he can do. And what I'm trying to tell you is, I'll follow the law, because that's what we're supposed to do. But I'm not going to follow along with somebody that puts stuff out and says, either you do this or I'm going to not give you funding. That's not part of the game. And I don't live in a kingdom, okay? I live in a state. And we got to quit acting like he's king, because he's not.
and he's doing unconstitutional things right now that you can't even enforce. If you come to somebody's business tonight or tomorrow, and you decide that you're going to shut them down for 2 or 3 times if they do what, I got to tell you, I don't think anybody in their right mind is going to allow you to win that. Because it's not right. It's unconstitutionally not right. And we sit here and we continue to let this stuff be dictated to us, and nobody wants to speak up and say anything. Well, we're going to say something because it's wrong. And the other thing, last but not least, I know everybody's worried about the testing. It's something to be alarmed about. But let's don't forget these are tests. And the tests aren't that accurate anymore. And the numbers keep going up. The closer we get to election, the numbers keep going up. I wonder why. Nobody's dying. That's the other thing. The deaths aren't taking over. So all of this is, we end up playing the game. Businesses are folding and crumbling. And all the while, the guy up in Springfield and Chicago thinks it's okay. Well, I don't think it's okay. We better grab a hold of this and start to do something. We'll not make it if we don't. Thank you.
I will have to disagree with you on one point that no one is dying. 2 in the last 4 days, 10 through at least 10 in the county.
How many people though? It's not, hold it. Look at the flu from last year, how many died of the flu. And you tell me that these numbers are bigger than that? They're not.
That's not what I said.
Not even close.
What I said was I disagree to your point that you said nobody's dying. I did not compare any numbers to anything else. I disagree with the fact of your statement that nobody's dying. You tell that to the families of those that have succumbed to this virus.
I'm not saying people aren't dying. People die every day. I'm saying the numbers that we're seeing don't dictate that there's more deaths than what there are people being tested. Our hospitals are not running over, and the death from COVID it's not like it's a plague.
Okay, we will let it set at that. Thank you, Mr. Perry. The next individual, whoever that might be, the microphone is open again.
Okay, my name is
Yes,
I'd like
sir.
to make a couple of comments tonight. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Going back to what Mr. Donato has here in his paperwork, he's got the statutes, I suppose, and the whatever is coming down as far as maybe we could get a reappraisal of our property. Now, it would appear to me, if we go by what he has, that the county board should look into this, make a determination, and it should come before the county board. Mr. Danley needs to advise them, and the law and the statutes here that Mr. Donato has are quite plain. So we have a deteriorating situation out here. It appears it could be getting worse, and we need to follow the law. We need to, if we can get a reappraisal, then it needs to be done. And the county board is in authority to have a vote on this. And if they choose not to, maybe a mandamus action would be in order that they would take a vote on. Now, Mr. Danley, have you got any thoughts?
Well, Mr. Stodden, not
Could you put up?
to correct you, but, I mean, talking about issues directly seated with the county assessor and having the county board rule on those, I mean, that's problematic in a lot of ways. Oh.
He's got hearing aids.
Can you hear me, Mr. Stodden?
The county board
No comment, Mr. Stoughton.
Did you say no comment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that Mr. Danley speaking, or is that the chairman?
Mr. Danley speaking.
Mr. Danley is speaking?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's hard to hear you. I think you've got a mask on.
We all do.
We're trying to do that, yes.
Pardon me?
Go ahead.
You know, if we, the purpose of law is that everybody we have equal representation. Everybody wins when we follow the law. So there appears that we could have a reappraisal here. And so we need to determine that so we can move forward. Because we do have a lot of problems. They don't appear to be going away. I think there's more to, it seems to be a political end to this. It's quite evident now as you look upon the media. And so we're in very serious times. Just like to mention that our Attorney General of Mr. Barr up at the federal level said that we are being troubled and there's a lot of problems with this rioting where the country is in great crisis over it. He called that a lot of these people rioting are Bolsheviks. So we're seeing a deterioration in our freedom and liberty. We need to learn, we need to really think these things through. And having said that, I'll let you go. Thank you for your time. And then we have one more here, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Stodden, for your input. Again, the microphone's open. Please speak.
Hi, my name is Stephen Hay. I was recently employed at LSC Communications, so was my fiance. We lost our job in the part of COVID-19. She is actually training as a beach body person and trying to teach people how to work out and have a great nutrition plan. I'm restarting a company that I used to own, and the problem I'm having is the social service benefits down here is killing me on trying to obtain customers. I know back in 2017, Coles County was tied with Key County, that was double the population at 4.1% of the Illinois social service benefits. Now, with the closure of GE back in 2018, and now the closure of LSC Communications, what is your plan on trying to bring more businesses in? Because you guys kind of failed to even try to help with any tax cuts or anything like that to try to keep LSC here. So I'm just trying to figure out what you're going to do to help prosper new businesses start.
There is an organization here within the county called Coles Together. And it works on bringing new business to the county, looking at job losses, looking at encouraging startup companies. That would be the source that I would suggest you go to and have a discussion with them to see what is available.
I have one other on that, is with this 4.1% back in 2017, and I mean, you're tied with a county like Kankakee County, which is double the population up here. I'm not originally from around here. My mom had a cancer scare, blah, blah, blah. I came down here just 2 years ago. So I'm actually from a prosperous county in Illinois. I can't believe I even said that, but I actually am. So the thing is, though, is they give tax incentives, and they also do financial investments into helping businesses establish brick and mortar buildings. They also do a lot of other things to kind of give tax breaks to businesses that are suffering a loss. I mean, I turned my unemployment, and I'm not trying to live off of unemployment, and I'm not an abuser, so I turned my unemployment into a successful business so far. But I keep on running into the fact of having this 4.1% that I know of social service benefits where people cannot pay me for my services. So what can the county do to help give me a better tax deal or give me something to keep my business established? Or to make my business prosper where I could actually hire more employees and try to benefit the community and myself.
I do not have a direct, definitive answer for you.
Okay, well, do you think we could maybe meet sometime and sit down and discuss these things?
I can make inquiries, and I would urge you to, contact Coles Together, the director there, and I can reach out to her as well and get a better understanding, and you can email me at the county board office.
Okay. What's that email address, sir?
What?
Well, it's on our website.
Oh, it's on the
It's on the
website, yeah.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you get it up there.
Yeah, you can pull it up on,
Coles County Board website.
yeah, Coles County, .gov, all that, on the website.
Okay, so
Actually,
I
here,
have one last final thing, and I'm sorry for bugging you. So since, we just had a baby. She just got off of maternity leave. She can't make it to her job, blah, blah, blah. But how can she start doing this whole workout thing and trying to help people when they have to wear masks? Am I going to have, the Illinois Department of Health come into the place that we're starting to establish and stuff like that and starting to close this down? We've taken a significant loss at this. So I'm trying to figure out what you guys can do. We're going to follow by all the guidelines that are set, but how can I heard an individual earlier mention this about, risk of heart attacks and stuff like this. We're paying out a lot of money to do this, and we're already going to get significant hit on this. So are you going to do something to help these small businesses? That's the biggest thing is, are you guys actually going to help the small business stay established even with the governor's actions? I've written a letter to the governor asking him on why he's doing these unconstitutional deals. I've spoken to state representatives like Representative Miller and Representative Bailey and Will Howler, and I've even reached out to Madigan's office a few times. So, can you guys ensure the small business that you guys are going to stick behind the small businesses of Coles County?
it would be our intent, but can we absolutely ensure that action? No, we cannot.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
Okay,
Excuse me, this is Rick Shook. What did Mr. Bailey tell you?
Yeah, he must be.
What was that, sir?
What did Mr. Bailey tell you? You asked him.
I'm not going to disclose information that I have with other individuals. That is my own personal.
Okay, we respect that, thank you. Okay, I will open the microphone again.
Hello, this is Rick. Oh, sorry. Go right ahead.
Crawford from Mattoon. Back in early July, I submitted FOIA requests to Lisa McDaniels
McMichaels.
and also to the state's attorney's office, and I was denied about 75% of what I had requested. And I want an answer, and maybe there was action taken, or maybe there wasn't, but I want to know what the Coles County Board, what action they take on a complaint that was filed with the Coles County Board regarding Jesse Danley and using public officers that worked in the state's attorney's office to work on Wolf versus Danley. I've also submitted another FOIA request this week. I will mention that when I did submit the first batch of FOIA requests, the county was in violation of 5 ILCS 40 because you have a 5-day limit to either ask for an extension or to give the FOIA request. After I submitted a notice saying, hey, you were in violation with the law, then that night, did I get those FOIA requests. So I would like, and also with public records are part of the county, and this was done on county time, I should be given all those documents that I requested. But I would like to know what action the Coles County Board took regarding that complaint that was filed with you guys late last year. Thank you.
I do not recall. I remember many FOIA. I don't even remember what the FOIA requests, all the vast number of the requests have been. I believe that the effort to respond to FOIA requests are met in as timely a fashion as possible. So hopefully, it was done that way. I cannot say specifically, and as far as a complaint, there was no action taken by the board.
No, I can say you were in, that it was past the 5 days, which is stated by 5 ILCS 40. There was no extension asked. I submitted more requests on Friday, so hopefully I'll get an answer within the 5 days, which is stated by law. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The microphone is open again.
Hello, my name is Terry Cronin. I assume you can hear me all right?
Yes, Terry.
Okay. Listen, I apologize. I'm a little unprepared for this kind of last minute thing, but I'll be brief. 4 years ago, I filed a grievance over my taxes for Broadway Avenue building being severely overtaxed. I submitted a further grievance when I was denied at my local hearing here. The state found in my favor, and they had to cut me a check for the overpayment over the last 3.5 years. They did go ahead and cut me a check. I had a little bit of an issue with it. They told me I had to wait until after the first installment came in, which I took exception to because no one gave me a chance when they decided they were going to take my money, as it turns out illegally. They took it every year for 3 years. If I wouldn't have paid it, I assumed that I would have had penalties and levied against me, probably all the way to taking my property away from me if I don't pay my taxes. But they did, when the first installment went in, they did send me a check. But the first thing I noticed was that they did not provide the interest that I was due with the original check. I called the Treasury office, and I was quoted a particular statute, which I happen to have on a tablet right here in front of me, ILCS 200/2320. find out why I wasn't given interest, they told me, and they quoted me their very statute. They said, according to the statute, they don't have to pay interest unless we ask for it. Which I'm standing here looking at this as we speak, and it doesn't say anything in there about having to request our interest. So everyone that I know that filed a grievance with the state, most of them, I really don't know anybody who lost. And I'm wondering how many people got tipped out of their interest because they didn't ask. It seems like a pretty underhanded thing to do. When the check gets cashed, I assume you all consider that a deal done. I didn't cash mine, and I still haven't cashed it because I'm still not convinced that it was the proper amount of interest paid or the proper percentile. My question is, are you aware that this is the information that's being handed out by the Treasury Office here in Coles County? And what's going to be done for all the people who didn't receive what they have coming to them according to this statute?
Can I answer that? This is George Edwards, the County Treasurer.
Yes, George, please go ahead.
Well, I apologize for them telling you that you had to ask. We have since found out that that was incorrect information. And we have went back through all the cases and completed the refunds based on the current, it's either 5% interest or the CPI, and it's the CPI based on the year of the refund. So those have all been made whole. I apologize for any oversight on my part, but those have been corrected. And if you feel like if your check isn't correct, I would welcome you to come in and we could sit down and show you how the calculation was made.
Okay. I appreciate the response. I do have one question. Who told you, where did you learn that they were giving out that information?
I'm not sure I follow what your question is.
Well, as I said, I called them on it, and they sent me my check. But you said you since found out that what you were telling us was wrong. Where did you find out the right information? Who told you, or where did you find it out?
I discovered it myself through reading the statutes.
Okay.
So you didn't know the statute, you were handing out checks without the interest on it. Mr. James Donato FOIA requested all that information from you. I don't understand, because if we were to pay our taxes late, we wouldn't be able to say, well, I didn't know the statute, and not pay it for several years. Well, someone must have given you bad information. I think who gave you the information that you didn't have to pay interest on the money? The statute, clear statute, I believe, if I'm reading it correctly, I think they amended the statute in 1997. So that's quite a while.
Well, like I said, James, we went back and corrected our mistake and did issue interest checks to those that we had missed. The real estate software that we use does not calculate the interest automatically. It's something that's done outside the system. And that's why a check isn't cut at the immediate time that the refund is made. We feel like the refund needs to be made as soon as possible, and then we go back and calculate, because it does take some time.
Mr. Cronin, did that,
So moving forward, you can assure that has interest coming will be coming properly?
Yes. And this is something that until recently we have not done. We have not made refunds on PTAC cases because there's not been that many of them.
I assume in the last 4 years, probably.
Well, you have the information, don't you?
I did have some of the information, yeah.
Well, I know we spent several hours in the office preparing that FOIA request, and I believe you have the information.
All right, I just think with everything that's gone on, though, I mean, it's just another example of how there's two sets of standards. You know, the tax
brother, had Mr. Cronin not called that county out on that, nobody would have got their interest back, which I find that that's just more than a coincidence. That's all. Sorry. Thank you.
Mr. Cronin, did that?
That's all I have. Thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I will ask anyone else. If not, motion to adjourn.
Second.
A motion by Mr. Dowdy and a second by Mr. East to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Dowdy,
Yes.
East,
Yes.
Marvin,
Yes.
Purdy,
Yes.
Shook,
Yes.
Watts,
Yes.
Bell,
Yes.
Coffee,
Yes.
Corey. Yes. Doty,
Yes.
Zuho.
Yes. Adjourn. At 8:09 or 8:18.
By this clock.
Oh, well, whatever, 8:12.